It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Oh, let's review.
We'll analyze the scene.
Sounds wholly jolly to me.
Before it's over, let's begin.
Bum.
Bum.
That's right, folks. Since the Christmas season is upon us, we thought the way to celebrate and get into the holiday spirit would be with some holiday reviews.
12 to be exact, technically divided into 4 categories for your Yuletide pleasure.
So, without further ado, silver up those bells, light the multicolored lights, and go out and build a snowman. And join us as we get into some seasonal shenanigans. And tonight we're unwrapping a Muppet Family Christmas.
Sorry, folks. I just love when he does the Miss Piggy voice. I'm sorry.
That was not me at my best, Dragon. I'm still kind of getting over a cold, so it's like, so I literally have kind of a frog in my throat I'm dealing with. Pun intended.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's right, folks. Yes, we're talking about a Muppet Family Christmas.
Yeah, so Dragon, background on this is pretty sparse, right?
Yeah. Basically, all we really know about this is kind of an unknown entity, this special, but here's all we do know. It was an ABC special produced in 1987. Famously, it has not been like re-released on a good quality DVD or Blu-ray. It's just been kind of, if you can find it like on eBay, I guess deep cuts you could find on VHS or DVD from like a really old school release, but most usually you'll find it on YouTube. It was a big crossover of at least 4 different properties. We had
Yeah,
Muppets.
this thing is a huge freaking. This is like the Infinity War of Marvel of Muppet. You know, of like Jim Henson franchises.
Technically, yes.
Like all they need is like the it's kind of funny. It's like if Labyrinth and Dark Crystal showed up in this, then that would kind of be the equivalent of like the Marvel Netflix stuff showing up in Infinity War.
Dinosaurs absolutely would be the Netflix equivalent of the dinosaur show.
Oh God.
Anyway, 4 properties being the Muppets, Sesame Street, Fraggles, and Muppet Babies for a brief cameo.
For a very brief cameo.
Yes. So this was shot in Canada, like most things. Shot in Canada because one, it's cheaper to shoot there, but also if you're in winter, Canada.
Susan Ronan roams the winter wasteland.
Yes. And she's a very fair ruler.
God.
Anyway. So famously, there's also there was a number of deleted scenes, basically like the basically deleted scenes from the release and from the DVD and VHS. Like certain things were kind of. They're kind of trimmed and like kind of added in there, so it's very minimal stuff. It's nothing major is missing, like in Gremlins, but just like some minor edits here and there. So really, that's all the official background. But let's just get into how we kind of came across this. So again, like I kind of alluded to, I came across it just kind of looking for Muppet Christmas specials, and I just kind of happened upon this on YouTube.
And I came across it because you were like, "Hey, Tiki, have you heard of a Muppet Family Christmas?" And I was like, why no, Dragon? That sounds like kind of a diamond in the rough. We should look into that.
And it was.
And also, folks, just to clear the air here, we had this scheduled like months before the Nostalgia Critic released his video on this.
Yep, because swear to God, man, we had a couple Henson picks, and I swear to God, it was like between this, the Christmas toy, and possibly the John Denver Muppets Christmas thing. So
I think we should do the John Denver Muppets one next.
I wouldn't be
a fun one.
I wouldn't be opposed, but if we could ever find a good copy, I mean, Christmas toy is another good one. But I don't know, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so the point is, we had options, folks. And we went with this because honestly, honestly for the image before you. This is the reason I kind of pushed for this one as well. Just the snowman. To be quite frank, and the snowman did not disappoint. We'll get into that, but. So in doing that, we were going to beat into the punch by.
Could you imagine if they gave this snowman like a half-hour short film before the Dark Crystal? God.
Well, I'd enjoy it
for a lot better than Olaf's Frozen Adventure did.
Quite possibly. Anyway, so yes,
we need to find your holiday tradition, Fozzie Waka Waka.
But here's the thing: it'd be like a Hope and Crosby adventure, though. That's what would make it fantastic. That's what would eclipse it from Olaf's Frozen Adventure. Yeah, because again, so that's what they're doing here. They're doing Hope and Crosby with Fozzie and the Snowman. I'm sorry, we're jumping ahead anyway. So, anything else you want to kind of share?
The only thing I want to share is just I want to put it out there that I have not watched the Nostalgia Critic episode, so any views or opinions I have on this are absolutely not influenced by that whatsoever. Just want to put that out there as a disclaimer.
Okie dokie.
Little PSA before we go forth. All right, go ahead. What's the plot of this one, Dragon?
Okay, the plot, just to kind of get to the bare essentials here, no pun intended. Okay,
It's the Hateful Eight.
Not exactly.
It totally is. It totally is.
All right, fine.
Except it's the Loving Eight. It's like the much more friendly version of the Hateful Eight without the murder conspiracy plotline.
Tiki, if that helps, sure, I guess. Anyway, Hateful Eight.
It's a bunch of people stuck in a cabin together during a snowstorm.
To be fair, to give my associate's not going mad. To be fair, Tarantino has worked with the Muppets, and he has mentioned that he would love to see Rolf the dog in a Pulp Fiction Muppet remake.
Oh my god! Well, I think they do. I think there's like T-shirts of like Rolf and Kermit in the Pulp Fiction poses.
Rolf and the Swedish Chef, actually.
Oh yes, you're right. Oh my god, and
Tiki,
Swedish Chef is like hands down the most Tarantino of all the Muppets characters.
And Tiki, you've seen Muppet Wizard of Oz, right?
I've seen parts of it.
That's where Tarantino has a scene in that, and
I know he does. Yeah,
and the bonus features show the whole Tarantino, the Muppet realization of Swedish Chef and Rolf.
Oh god.
Anyway. So, plot goes a little something like this. Not the Hateful Eight. It goes a little something like this.
It's the Hateful Eight without the murder!
Oh, you stop with the Hateful Eight. Not every cabin is the Hateful Eight, Tiki.
All right. Anyways.
What's our farm? Anyway. God. So.
Okay, then it's Adventures Age of Ultron. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway. Trying to get in the holiday spirit here. Anyway.
All right, go ahead.
Fozzie takes the Muppets to his mother's farm, the Grizzly Farms, around the holidays, because she's going to be alone around the holidays. He thought I'd bring his friends by, give her some holiday cheer. But unbeknownst to Fozzie, she has planned for a trip to Malibu. She's planned for a trip to Malibu, and she's also simultaneously rented the farm out while she's gone to Doc and Sprocket from Fraggle Rock.
This was such a cool crossover, Dragon. I loved it so much.
Basically, this leads to everyone being together for the holidays, and just to boil it down, basically everyone's together for the holidays, and they sing a lot. But beyond that,
that's pretty much it.
That is pretty much it. But beyond, there's a little bit more specifics. Piggy is stuck at a photo shoot and Christmas shopping and a whole barrage of things. Fozzie befriends Snowman, and it's awesome. Let's see. The Swedish Chef struggles to cook the Christmas turkey. Let's say as
this
Gonzo.
Might be the best Swedish Chef story ever.
It is, and we'll get into that. While that's going on, Gonzo competes with said turkey.
Oh God!
The Sesame Street gang arrive to carol and and send their holiday wishes.
Mm-hmm.
A blizzard concerns Kermit, not for the fact that he's an amphibian, but for the fact that Miss Piggy is out there and she is trying to make her way within a blizzard. So he's very concerned over his sweetheart, let's say. So let's see. Meanwhile, the Muppets and the Sesame Street gang, they put on a little show to keep them busy. Very kind of Hope and Crosby-esque. Let's put on a show. They meet some Fraggles along the way, and Doc finds Miss Piggy ultimately, which leads to a barrage of Christmas carols. And that's the special.
Oh God, so many. Like the last 10 minutes of this is just a montage of Christmas carols. Okay, so let's talk about, I think all these characters will go by relatively quick because we all know them kind of backwards and forwards. We don't have to really spend a lot of time like, what makes Kermit the Frog? But
Tiki, have you really gotten it? have we really gotten through every side of the Great Gonzo? I think there's more. I think there's some deep layers there we gotta just dig deep.
Well, I will say there is some fun stuff with Gonzo in this that kind of puts a nice spin on my my Dave Goals encounters.
Oh, jeez. All right. Okay. So let's start with Kermit the Frog.
Yes, yes. I don't have a ton to say about Kermit the Special. He honestly kind of takes a back seat.
Diggy, this is going to sound really simple, but I tell you, it just shows you the appeal of the character, just the appeal of like our fondness for the character, just period, what this character means to so many people, and that I get such a delight, Tiggy, when we have Henson era Kermit the Frog. Just Jim Henson.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm just saying, like nowadays when we have the Muppets, don't wrong, nothing against the Steve Whitmire and company, but I'm just saying, just the Jim Henson era Kermit the Frog, just that's the sincerity, that's the pinnacle of Kermit the Frog for you. That's just I just love that. That brings me just a simple delight just hearing Jim Henson, like the most connected you have with that character, with who he was in life. That's Jim Henson's Kermit the Frog. And what we represent with Kermit the Frog here is that he's the patriarch of the Muppet family, hence the Muppet Family Christmas. He's the patriarch. He's constantly called a lizard by Fozzie's mom. It's a fun running gag. And he's genuinely worried over Miss Piggy.
Which I think is kind of like the strong sort of through line of his arc, but it's not really much of an arc. It's more just kind of like, let's give Kermit sort of something, humanistic to worry about in this special.
Yeah, it's just, Kermit, Kermit's minimal, but it doesn't hurt this at all. Kermit's minimal in the best way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's speak of someone who's kind of brings us this whole special. Without this character, we don't have this special. Fozzie Bear.
I thought we were going to go to Piggy.
Oh. Well, might as well just go with Fozzie. He's kind of important. I don't want to go with Fozzie.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. I read it wrong. Yeah, okay, yeah, Fozzie. Fozzie, I would say, is definitely the main character here.
Yes. So, again, Fozzie's the inciting incident. This is how he wants to kind of bring... we've established Fozzie's mother. So I'm trying to think where the first time we saw Fozzie's mother was, because it was...
God.
Here's the thing.
Trivia question.
See, here's the thing. If I'm remembering correctly, this could possibly be the first time we see her, or the... this would have... The three appearances I'm thinking of with Fozzie's mom, this would be the first one out of those three. So I'm thinking there's this, then the next there would be the Muppets Go to Disney World.
Sure, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
and because that's 90, if not 90, it must be 1990, I guess. And then in the Christmas Carol, you have Fozzie's mom again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this might be the first time we see Fozzie's mom, if anything. Again, assuming she's not in the show somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yes, basically he's just trying to his mother's lonely around the holidays, and he's trying to kind of surprise her with like a little visit and bring his friends there to keep her company. So again, Fozzie's mom is like a nice little gesture, and of course
much the same. But this is like just a classic Fozzie thing. But him trying to do something nice just results in overcomplicating everything.
Certainly,
because it just results in this whole dynamic of like she's trying to rent out the room to Doc, and Doc and Sprocket are just trying to have a quiet holiday alone, and Yeah. I've always said this about Fozzie Bear Dragon, but the fun of the Muppets comes from the Muppets screwing everything up and things not going the Muppets' way. And what makes Fozzie a beautiful character in the context of all that is Fozzie is like the one character where you're genuinely rooting for Fozzie Bear to succeed within the Muppets. You know what I mean?
He's the underdog stage. He's the under-bear stage comedian.
Yeah. And of course, he has an amazing sidekick in this that we'll get to.
He does, and again, that's the thing so two things with Fozzie I really love here. I love that, again, it's basically, if you want to look in from another context, you see this Fozzie, he is melding his show family with the Muppets, with his actual family, just kind of showing how much he really values the Muppets. Like saying, you guys are practically family, I'm going to introduce you to my family. It's kind of blending worlds there.
Sure.
And the other thing, of course, is I love the whole Hope and kind of Crosby approach of his new comedy partner in a snowman.
I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more like comedy partners for Fozzie over the years, because it's such a good idea that he would have like a Bing Crosby.
Yeah, there's so many. Honestly, I want to see almost as much. I want to see just Fozzie paired with like real comedians who have had specials and just them giving him features.
Oh my
Like imagine doing a comedy special. You know when they have like a forced storyline in those comedy specials where like Kevin. I didn't watch all of it because it was kind of ridiculous. But Kevin
Yes,
Hart
I know what you're talking about.
like Kevin Hart like some sort of ridiculous storyline. So usually, if the comedian, the smart comedian, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound harsh on Kevin Hart, but I just think it was ridiculous. And whoever told him this was
No, the
silly.
Kevin Hart thing, I know what you're talking about. That was just way like, hey, I'm Kevin Hart. I'm going to do a crazy action movie thing in the middle of
Yeah.
my stand-up comedy special.
My point is traditionally what comedians do, like Patton Oswalt or Sarah Silverman, or you're even Jeff Dunham. Usually, less Jeff Dunham these days. What you usually do is you open your special like a little gag, like saying, "Oh, look, here's the setup for on the way to the special." Like it's like it's kind of sandwiched. They're like, hey, here's
Kind of like a
begin.
lot of the times they'll sort of like, reminisce about the town that they're doing the special in.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's usually kind of story you have there. But if we did like a storyline or just like something, even like the beginning, there's like we show kind of a comedian, like a buddy thing. Basically, you have like Patton Oswalt like going on an adventure with Fozzie Bear or something. It's like you teach him like the roots of comedy.
Right. Oh, God. Can I just say I'd love to see Dave Chappelle interact with the Muppets at some point.
You don't
I
think
know you're not a big Chappelle guy, but Dave Chappelle would just, I think he'd just fit like a glove into their
you don't
world.
think he may have been a Muppets tonight? You really want to check into that sort of thing because everyone's been, everyone's
Well,
been.
I know that Dave Chappelle, I know that he did a Sesame Street parody on Chappelle's show. I know
Yes.
that much. That's why I kind of make the connection.
I love seeing John Oliver interact with the Sesame Street characters so much, by the way. So John Oliver is hilarious, and with Muppets, he's even better. Anyway, so
by the way, just a quick rant about Dave Chappelle. I thought there were like 6 Netflix specials that were coming out this year with him, and so far they've only released 2. What gives? Anyways, I'm sorry.
Well, very, very brief for mini rant. Connects to the whole Canadian thing.
Oh, God.
The Travelers is finally going to be available on Netflix in America because it's made in Canada, therefore it comes out in October in Canada and instead of December in the U.S.
You hear our minimal gripes, Netflix.
These are first world problems and I demand they be heard.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, so let's talk about Miss Piggy.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
So Miss Piggy,
I was on the way to the cabin when I realized I had a quick little modeling gig.
So I really like how we're not doing. It's almost like we're kind of circumventing the expectation of Miss Piggy.
Like Miss Piggy is like the great thing about it is like she is kind of like being like all the materialistic things you would expect out of her, but she's like totally just unaware that she's doing it.
Yeah, and at the same time, she is like I would expect, like the traditional route I expect is that she's like she just basically like she forgot all about it and she doesn't have any intention on showing up. And
right, but the whole thing of this is like, she's missing it for very stupid, vain reasons, but she genuinely wants to be there.
That's the thing, like she wants to be there for Kermit, and that's really endearing. It's like that endearing level under the surface that I'm really appreciating.
Oh, don't you worry. I'll be at the cabin very soon.
Yes. Yeah, again, she's living up as a model and doing some nice Christmas shopping. And again, I love one of the best gags of Miss Piggy. She makes an entrance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that gag so much, Tiki. And
I know you have a soft spot for the doc thing when it comes to Miss Piggy, so I'll let you take that. But I can't wait to talk about that, too.
Sure. Okay, let's, so yeah, that's pretty much it with Piggy.
Sure.
Oh, the mink gag's really funny too. The whole mink thing, like Kermit's gift to Miss Piggy.
Yes,
that's just really hilarious. And Tiki, it's just so honestly, I would love to show that gag to PETA. Honestly, I really love to do that because I think that'd be such an adorable gag to show.
It's like, hey, this is the way that you get an animal movie message across.
It's like saying, of course, you expect mink as in like the little fur, the kind of the very inhumane fur thing, but no, it's like, hey. This is what you get people actual minks, so therefore you get the animals adopted. And aside from that, they are not, have horrific things done to them, but they're just like really complimentary pets.
Dragon, it's funny. It's like either that or like, show them, I'm sorry, very, very, like this isn't necessarily a spoiler for The Last Jedi, but just if you haven't seen it yet and you want to know nothing about it, you know what else would be a great PETA thing would be that one moment with Chewbacca, eating the porg.
We just need like kind of an accumulation of better PETA ads. That's really what we got. That's really what we gotta find. We get like better animal rights.
I would say that the Finn and Rose version of the PETA's thing is like it's not necessarily like in line with PETA's philosophy, but it's more like okay, that's maybe like our B material.
Yeah, they don't really chase us through casino planets or anything, but you know.
Anyway. Oh God, I have a rant about that scene, but we'll get there when we get to the spoiler cast.
All right. Anyway, let's get back on point to the Great Gonzo.
Yeah. Oh boy. So, Dragon, should I regale the audience with my story if they haven't heard it?
Can you hit them with like the abridged version?
Sure. So, folks, for about a year, I was a volunteer at the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco. Long story short, while I was there, I was invited to 2 events with Dave Goelz. One was a Fraggle Rock event where I got to watch a screening of a Fraggle Rock episode with him. And the other was more important. This was a screening of the Muppet Christmas Carol, basically around this same time last year, you know, like kind of like mid-December. And Dragon, the first event was a Fraggle Rock event, so of course like, Gonzo wouldn't have really fit into it anyways. But this event, all right, you know, being that of course Gonzo like big factor in Muppet Christmas Carol, you know, one of Dave Goelz's most favorite Gonzo performances, you know, Gonzo playing Charles Dickens. So after the screening, he whips out Gonzo. And I tell you, man, oh man, just the feeling of being in the room with a Muppet, with a live Muppet. It's like Dave Goelz was standing there. You know, Dave Goelz was right there. He wasn't even trying to be a ventriloquist or anything. He was moving his mouth and everything, you know. But the illusion was just like, oh my God, it's Gonzo. I am talking to Gonzo. So anyways, folks, so I asked Gonzo the very bold question, because this has kind of been a thing with Dragon and I, is sort of like the continuity of Gonzo and Camilla's relationship, you know, how it kind of tends to change from movie to movie, right? And Dragon, you know this story. What was Gonzo's response?
Gonzo was not crazy about the personal questions in front of a live audience. He
really wasn't.
Yeah, he gave Tiki the business, and Tiki just rolled over like a dog, and he kind of showed his belly on it.
Hey, man, I just didn't want to talk about my exes in front of a live audience, so what are you going to do?
I'm saying if a Muppet asks you to show your cards, you show your cards, darn it.
You're like, well, okay, you know, anyways. So yeah, Dragon, it's just with that in mind, with the whole like questioning Gonzo's relationship status with Camilla, how perfect is this Christmas special? And the fact that it's Christmas too, that's what makes it even better. The fact that it's like I asked him that question during a Christmas related event, and this is a Christmas special. It's perfect, Dragon. The symmetry is just great.
It rhymes.
It's like it rhymes. It's like poetry. Yes.
All right, so so Gonzo, he's kind of dealing with this stubborn. Well, I don't want to step on too many things. Let's just say, you know, Gonzo, he's dealing with some competition in his romance with Camilla.
Yeah. And I feel like it's one of the few times where we see the possibility of that. You know what I mean? Like, of course, Camilla would go for a bird over Gonzo.
Then again, you look at the comparison between Turkey and Gonzo; they are very similar.
Sure. I also love how the turkey, like, pretty blatantly has the same voice as Rizzo.
Yeah, that might be intentional. That might.
I'm pretty sure that is intentional.
That might. One of the fact that Dave Goelz and Steve Whitmire have great chemistry together. That's probably why that actually happened. I mean, for our speculative purposes, let's just say that maybe there's a deep down, like there's a deep sea, like kind of a rift in the friendship that's seeded through that. That, you know.
Oh God.
The voice of Steve Whitmire doing the Rizzo voice. Maybe that's intentional. Maybe that's saying the reason Gonzo and Camilla can never kind of take the next step in their relationship.
Oh no!
Is the friendship with Rizzo. It's always dragging them down. There are layers, man. There are levels.
Are you saying that Camilla just doesn't like Rizzo, or are you saying that Rizzo is infatuated with Camilla?
Well, See, I'm not
It could
going to
be a
rule
little bit of both, right?
I'm not going to rule anything out, Tiki, but I would say that perhaps Rizzo is just like Gonzo. Like,
Okay, you see, Dragon, it's
Gonzo,
very important. It's very important that we establish these questions because I need to like, follow my lead in case I get invited to another Dave Goals event. I need to, because so far I've asked him two Camilla related questions. I asked him about the origin of Camilla during the Fraggle Rock event, and then I asked him the relationship status thing. So I need to step my game up, man.
I really want you to somehow videotape it because I can't wait to see Gonzo.
I can't. Trust me, that's not going to happen. But
oh right, well, yeah, part of me would love, fantastically if you record it because I want to see Gonzo rip you a new one, saying, "Oh, you again? I remember you."
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Asking all the personal questions here.
I want to literally like create a real life story arc with Gonzo.
Well, I think we're just boring the audience to tears here. Let's.
There's not really a lot to say about Gonzo that doesn't really tie into my favorite moments with him. So let's just okay. So Fozzie's mom.
Yes, Emily Bear. Again, she's got this Miami trip all planned out. She took 3 months of surfing lessons, all out the crapper. Yeah, and I love, honestly, she has one of my favorite lines in the whole special, to be quite honest. She has this beautiful line, and I think it summarizes where her arc goes, where basically she's just kind of inviting all these people, and of course there's very limited space within this cabin house thing. And, she just has this great line at the end where she says to Fozzie after kind of mentioning, oh, I had this whole trip plan and everything. Is, oh, I'm sorry, Mom. Says, your friends are weirdos, but they're nice weirdos. See, that line is it's so nice, so uplifting. If I just boil it down, it's such a beautiful sentiment about what the Muppets are.
Speaking of the weirdos thing, I like how Sam's one line in this is something to the extent of I shouldn't even be here today. I mean, it's not exactly word for word that, but it's,
It would be hysterical if it was that, though, T. Yeah, just give him a goatee. Just give him a goatee and...
Oh, God.
I wonder who Randall would be. The Muppet equivalent of Randall.
I would like to say Gonzo.
I would also like to say Gonzo.
He's kind of like the wannabe ladies man.
Anyway, we're gonna get too sidetracked if we focus on that. Anyway, but yeah, it's just a great sentiment that
Sam Eagle, just personality-wise, absolutely does not fit Dante whatsoever. I just would have.
What are you talking about? I think he fits Dante.
To you?
A little, yeah. I mean, Dante's he's kind of the stickler. He's the kind of the guy over his head there.
All right. Anyways,
he's the straight man of the two.
Sure.
Anyway, so where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so just your friends are weirdos, but they're nice weirdos. There's a perfect little sentiment about that, and it shows you that she kind of looked at these crazy guys kind of ruining her vacation as it's kind of a nice little family Christmas. These guys are eclectic and they're all cute.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about someone who connects to the Emily Bear story. Good old Doc and Sprout.
Oh my God, Dragon! This was such a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, so Doc and Sprout. Honestly, it's amazing that we only have 2 human actors. One was just a cameo.
Yeah, right. And I just, to me, it's such a stroke of genius to have Doc be the main human character in this.
I love seeing the interactions we have in this is a big positive I have for the whole special, seeing all these characters kind of, all these Muppets interact with different, basically Muppets in the Sesame Street characters, as well as, Doc from Fraggle Rock, just kind of working those interactions, and then we get some really great kind of results that make sense with that. I have, he had this reservation that's just been completely wrecked by all these people just kind of coming in, and he wanted a nice, quiet Christmas. And initially, he thinks, "Oh man, my whole trip's been ruined." And for a moment, I don't want to get too into it. Let's just say, he ends up being he's so pleasant and accommodating. He's told you're gonna have to sleep in the broom closet there, and you have to sleep in the closet and build bunk beds for the closet. Okay, I'm gonna build some bunk beds. He's looking forward to building. Bunk beds.
Get me a hammer.
Yeah, Doc loves building things. Makes sense. Okay, I can build things. Hooray!
Right.
He's befriending the new guest. So Doc's taking lemons. He's making the lemonade, and that's nice.
Yeah, like you said, I love the arc that he goes on, where he goes from basically being a very, very, very light Scrooge to being by far the most likable guy in the whole special.
Yeah, so he even gets dressed like a Mountie later on.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Why Miss Piggy has a Mountie costume, I'll never know.
Hey, don't question these things.
Right. Oh,
All
let's
right.
talk about the Swedish chef and the turkey.
Oh man, so Dragon, this might be the best Swedish chef story ever.
Oh yes, and basically, and Tiki, I can relate to this with mainly for Thanksgiving, not for myself personally, but members of my family who basically cooking the turkey. Tiki, it is game time. That is like the event you live for around the holidays, and basically it is repeated to a lesser.
Whenever I think of Thanksgiving turkey, my mind instantly goes to like Friends.
You think of Joey
No,
with the
those
turkey.
are my pregnancy pants. No, those are my Thanksgiving pants.
Are you thinking of Joey with the turkey on his head?
Yes, yes. No, I'm thinking of the episode where where Monica makes him, where he insists that they have Thanksgiving turkey, and he's like, "Well, you know what? I'll eat the turkey. Like no one else wants any." So he's like, "I'll eat the full turkey."
God. Oh, Joey. Anyway.
Oh, Joey Tribbiani, the casual sexual predator.
Oh, come on. Don't. Why you gotta.
I'm
That was
saying it's the truth, man. Don't say it's don't
that
deny
was
it.
that.
Don't you dare deny it.
What? Come on. It was the
Might have been a
90s.
sweet guy, but
Why? Why you gotta make him dirty like that? Come on, it's Joey.
if you went through the series and counted every woman that man had sex with.
But that doesn't make him a bad guy. Come on.
Anyways.
Why you gotta? Oh man, now you're making Matt LeBlanc cry.
Oh God.
He's crying into his residuals right now. Look at him.
Okay,
Anyway.
to be fair, all the people on Friends are freaking terrible people, all right? Like equally.
Friends aficionados, kill them. Anyway.
God.
Anyway,
So
getting back on. Yes, well, yes, you completely took my personal little anecdote and you turned to a Friends tangent.
Oh God. I'm sorry.
My point is, for members of my family, turkey, turkey is game time, especially around Thanksgiving. They repeat for Christmas, and making procuring the turkey and preparing it. That's the event you live for. And the Swedish chef has that experience where he's there to cook something, even if
I just love that.
He's even willing to cook the dog.
Oh God.
Like had the turkey.
It's like he's not mean about it. Like he's not like threatening about it. He's just like, "Oh, you the turkey. You got to go in the oven." You know.
But he's very persistent. He's like not evil or anything or sadistic. He's just persistent.
Right.
And the turkey, I love here's what I will say about the turkey. I love the ridiculousness of it. It's such an adorable, hilarious, and somewhat eerie kind of story for the turkey. The fact that the Swedish chef, it's kind of sadistic when you think about it, but it's kind of innocent at the same time. That the Swedish chef invited the turkey
Oh God.
through the cabin so he could prepare it, so he wouldn't have to ship it. And
Dragon, I've always said that the Swedish chef is like the closest that the Muppets has ever come to doing a serial killer character.
And honestly, this is kind of the best example of that. But it's so. Again, it's so funny. It's like such a great.
Of
it's
course,
like
one of my favorite Swedish chef moments is in Muppet Vision 3D when he pretty much blows up the theater.
That is, I love that too. I really do. But it's just still kind of a cute gag for the kids out there. I love the kids would probably be really invested in turkey. It's like, oh no, get out of there! The chef's gonna cook you.
And if the kids aren't invested in the turkey dragon, then they'll certainly be invested in Big Bird.
Let's just say the turkey he directs the chef's attention to, and it's hysterical and it makes all the sense in the world, and I love it. It's just the fact of the turkey to save his own hide. He's like, okay, I get that you want to cook me. Before you do that, let me show. In all good conscience, I have to show you this. Why? I love the aggressiveness of the cut. By the way, I don't know if you picked up. I love the aggressiveness of like kind of the pan over there. Basically, look at this.
I love how this special is not afraid to have dark implications for the Sesame Street characters.
Yeah.
Like it's a bull crossover in that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like ripping the gem out of Vision's head, man.
Oh God. Okay.
All right. So, let me see what the whole Infinity War thing. So, okay, briefly, there's not really a lot there. Good old Statler and Waldorf.
Well, first of all, I love how they're not invited by the Muppets. They're invited by Fozzie's mom.
I'm going to add like another layer to this, as I kind of did before with the whole Gonzo thing. But seriously, think about this. I love that they're friends of Fozzie's mom. And just the fact that they're friends of Fozzie's mom, of course, the constant tormentors of her son. It just adds this, she's befriended her son's hecklers and adds dimension to Fozzie, always being nervous on stage around these guys. Just adds kind of an inferiority complex that is connected to his mother by proxy. It just kind of adds, it's like a deep psychological thing now.
Sure.
Yeah. Or Stanley Wald, if they're on fire, kind of stealing his punchlines.
It's almost kind of like the light version of like the abusive boyfriend thing.
Yeah, and I tell you the one thing though, I feel really bad for that snowman. It's kind of an anti-climax of that snowman, but no, we still keep the snowman around after that. But these big comedy things just completely thrown out the window. It's like, oh man, that poor snowman, they had routines worked out, darn it.
Well, that's kind of Fozzie's career in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We had routines worked out, and we had a big dance number in the second act, and it's all for nothing.
Moulin Scrooge, Elvis.
Oh, God. Anyways. All right, so, Dragon, let's get into the naughty and nice of it all.
All right, where do you want to start?
Well, let's see. We started with naughty for Golan, so let's turn things around here, Dragon. Let's start with the positives on this one.
Well, there's a lot of crossover appeal.
Oh, God, yeah, the crossover on this is great. I will say, though, quick aside, I feel like the Fraggle Rock thing is kind of like the most disconnected scene in the special.
I was going to give to that with naughty, but I mean, sure.
Well, I know. I'm just saying since it connects to the crossover.
Sure. Again, for me, the Henson charm and the simplicity of, okay, we're visiting Fozzie's mother for the holidays and we get snowed in. So it's pretty simple, it's pretty direct, but again, it has that rustic Henson charm built into it. I really love that. Of course, the songs are well executed. The songs are good.
Sure.
Maybe not like not that uber catchy, but I mean, as the classic holidays go, it's like, as the classic holiday favorites go, it's like, hey, it's sung by Muppets, and it's all jaunty and happy.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Fraggle mythology through Kermit and Robin, though. I do love how we get it through those characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, me not being a Fraggle guy, it's not like I have like a distaste for Fraggles. It's just like, oh, you gotta start from the beginning. I'm not Fraggle. I've jumped into the Fraggles blind with a Christmas episode before.
Yeah, and it did not turn out well for us.
That's the thing. So again, we're really lost on it. But honestly, this is like the first.
I think I'm less lost on it than you are, considering I've been to the panel with goals. But yeah, there's still, even with me, there's still a lot I don't wrap my head around with Fraggle Rock. It's a very deep show.
It's like, for me, I've only had 2 moments that have really enticed me into the Fraggles, and this is one of them. So like the other one is it's this moment here with Kermit and Robin is basically talking about the mythology of the Fraggles, basically the idea that Kermit the Frog knows about Fraggles. That's kind of cool. Honestly, that kind of entices me with it. The other thing being, I've seen one clip on Hollywood Babylon because unfortunately the actor who portrayed Doc passed away. And they showed the clip where he finally, in the Fraggle Rock series, the gag was that he would never, from what I understand, he never interacted with the Fraggles. He never saw the Fraggles. And basically in this episode, I forget what the main one's name is. Gobo, I think. Whatever the main
Gobo, that's right. Yeah.
Gobo had an interaction with them, and it was like a beautiful little scene. So those 2 scenes are the only 2 things that ever intrigued me in the Fraggles. So, point is, a good kind of. Well, I mean, at least it sold you on Fraggles, if nothing else. Like, at least gave you good little intrigue.
Well, I mean, it is a good message of where it just kind of slows the pace down a little bit. I don't know. It just feels a little bit disconnected, even though it is a good message.
Well, overall, speaking of messages, some good messages. I love the sweetness in the message of, of all the holiday things we know to be true. And then, plans change around the holidays. You got family craziness to deal with.
Yeah, they kind of like the whole family craziness. Like, well, you can't choose your family.
Yep, and in the end, it's the nice weirdos moment. That's kind of what the message kind of boils down to for me. You got a lot of heartfelt moments like that, and of course, big heartfelt moments we'll get to at moments. We have some really smart Sesame Street jokes.
Yeah, we do. And like I said, it's very impressive that they're able to kind of push the Sesame Street humor.
Like one, I also just even
one of the jokes I really love is the count trying to count the snowflakes.
God, that's funny. I love the whole this is small talk for us. Or basically, Bert and Ernie, they kind of bump in the dock, and they're just kind of basically saying, "Hey, your name starts with the letter D," and that whole thing is the letters. And then this is what are you getting at? Oh, this is small talk where we come from.
Yeah, right. That was fun. That was fun.
Also, I can't explain why. I just love it. It's a simple gag, it's a simple pun. I love that Fozzie's mom comments on it, just saying, "Oh, that's cute." Where they're doing a performance. I love the "'Twas the Night" performance they put on, and when they do that, my favorite gag in the whole thing, and that whole "'Twas the Night" production, Grover as the mouse who is not stirring to emphasize that he is. I can't explain why that was always one of my moments because it just cracks me up so much. The fact that that's how he would show that he's not stirring.
Right.
It's so silly. It's so ridiculous. And the fact that Fozzie's mom comments, "Oh, they're cute." And of course, the design, the rustic design, everything. It's kind of a nice cabin, a nice kind of wintry design outside with all the fake snow. It comes together. It comes together quite nice. And we already mentioned the humor overall is really good. My favorite gag, aside from the mice, aside from that a mouse was stirring, is it revolves around the snowman. Because the snowman. There's this great gag where Kermit is saying it's a classic Kermit and Fozzie conversation with a running gag or a gag that interrupts the scene. It's a classic setup like that, where basically Kermit and Fozzie are going around and he says, "Oh, Fozzie, it's cold in here." And Fozzie, "Oh, it's not that cold." And then the snowman enters and he says, "Can I warm up in here?" And Fozzie, without missing a beat, says, "Okay, it's a little cold." Just the fact that what more proof do you need? A snowman is asking to warm up. That means it's cold outside. I mean, it's cold outside is what Kermit was saying. It's not that bad outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was really funny. Okay, Naughty, we got to take points off.
I mean, honestly, not too much. I feel like maybe there's one too many musical numbers in this. As we said, the ending kind of like devolves into just like, hey, musical number. I
mean, come on, look. As much as I love, again, they're nice musical numbers, but let's face it, folks. 10 minutes of back-to-back musical numbers. Come on, that's too much.
That's too much, Bob.
What?
Price is Right.
Oh.
Why does no one but my sister get that reference?
I blame.
It's a game from The Price is Right. They'd show a bunch of prices, and then when you thought you saw a price that was too high for the item, you'd yell, "That's too much, Bob!" And you'd have to say, "That's too much, Bob Dragon." That was the whole thing. If you didn't say Bob, you'd lose. I'm sorry.
If I were you, I'd just blame it on Drew Carey and move on. But
screw Drew Carey.
That's what I'm saying. Is blame it on Drew Carey. Move on.
All right. Anyways.
Anyway, the songs are just they're back to back. We just whether they're good or not, we can't. It's song overload, man. It's nice. Save it for the Christmas album. Don't put it in the special. Right. The Fraggle stuff, I agree with you, Tiki. I think the Fraggle stuff out of context.
It's nice, but it's disconnected.
That's the thing. It's honestly just the Fraggle stuff out of context without being like uber into the Fraggles. It's not grabbing me because I'm just not into it. It's like it feels kind of forced. It feels like, okay, we have to. Because we have Doc and Sprocket, we have to have Fraggles.
Yeah, I agree. I think it kind of, I think it would have worked a little better if Doc and Sprocket were just, kind of stood on their own. You know what I mean?
I'm perfectly fine with Doc and Sprocket. I don't need any Fraggles, but then we just say, hey, there's like a mystical Fraggle hole.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And then also suddenly it kind of makes this weird sort of like double continuity thing too, where suddenly the Fraggles are like a myth in the Muppets world, and it just kind of makes things confusing. But
again, make no mistake, I love how that's delivered by Jim Henson, though that Fraggle mythology, even though Tiki's absolutely right in the point he's making. Right. Of course, in addition to something that feels forced, the Muppet Baby thing, without getting too into, I feel it's.
Well, my friend, I have a different take.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's unnecessary, but I'm saying it really reeks of we're trying to sell something here.
Are you sure about that?
It feels like it's like whenever we did the Muppet Babies in live action, it felt like, hey, there's a Muppet Baby show. Watch it. I was saying it just feels like what we also saw a Muppet Statement have. Like, okay, this is just like purely just to kind of promote the show.
To be fair, I think this works in better than Muppets Take Manhattan does, and also I just kind of have a soft spot for Muppet Babies, so
That's all I'm saying. It's not a problem. I'm just saying it's just consistently still the same. It's apparent. That's all. It's not bad. It's noticeable.
all right, Mr. Scrooge.
Hey,
I'm kidding.
I'm not Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
By the way, I didn't like it. Here's I'm going to take a knock against the Nostalgia Critic here. I didn't like that runner with the blinking, that stupid blinking runner.
Well, like I said, I haven't watched the Nostalgia Critic review yet.
All right,
so.
I just now realized that was a folly on my part. But regardless, anyway, there was no turkey closure, and that kind of bugged me.
And no real snowman closure either. I guess that's kind of a big flaw with this in general, is that some of the plot lines kind of just get left behind.
Yeah, at least the snowman had a gag though, like when Doc
he had a gag, but it wasn't necessarily like a wrap up on his character or anything. It was more just like, hey, he's still there, just chilling on the porch. Like, yeah, it's pretty cold.
It's kind of funny considering I think we killed him in another special. I'm pretty sure we killed him in Christmas Carol.
Oh man!
Because remember, during like when Kermit's coming home, I think as Bob Cratchit, like their kids playing the snowman. It could have been in a very Muppet Christmas movie. I'm pretty sure it was in Chris Carroll. Basically, the snowman's like doing the arm thing. Basically, his head falls off, and he is so missing a head. Anyway, okay. Well, he's a snowman, so he's probably gonna shake that off. Let's see. Is there anything? Do any song? Did that right out? Yeah, that's all I got.
Alrighty then, so let's move on to some favorite moments.
Yes.
Let's see, Dreg, can you recall which one of us has chronologically the first moment?
You.
Me, okay, well. Give me one moment.
Something involving caroling.
Is that really chronologically the first moment out of either of ours?
All right, fine. Something involving turkey.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Yes. So like I said, folks, I love the Dave Goelz, the Gonzo and Turkey dynamic. You know, it's such a fun, like, Dragon. My favorite thing, just really the only thing I have to say about this dynamic that we didn't really get to, you know, in the other stuff is, I love how Gonzo is so supportive of the turkey at the start. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the age old, like, you know, like you're best friends with the guy who's eventually going to steal your girlfriend away from you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like Gonzo's like, hey, look, I really don't think you should be here. You know, kind of like wrong place, wrong time. You know, it's like I love how Gonzo's just like, you know, looking out for the turkey.
The turkey's just so stupid and so stubborn here, and that he's sticking around when he's obviously going to get eaten.
Oh, nah, I'm a survivor.
And then, of course, he's moving in on Gonzo's girl. He's just making himself way too at home.
So yeah, but like I said, I love how Gonzo and the turkey just start out very much on the right foot. I thought that's adorable.
Yeah. Okay,
so the Muppet Babies thing, Drake. Goddamn, you're such a cynical. No, you're fine. You're fine. But I love the Muppet Babies thing, Dragon. This is my favorite live action Muppet Babies thing because actually this might be my favorite Muppet Babies thing. Period. Just because of how it's worked in. It's home videos. Dragon, you've got to admit, say what you will about the actual scene, but you've got to admit the grainy home video quality of the look of this scene is great, right?
I'm going to concede that I agree with you in that it's the best use of a Muppet Babies thing. I'm going to concede that using it as old archival footage. Honestly, the premise of like them all knowing each other as kids still kind of takes away from the Muppet movie a little bit for me.
Well, yeah, the Muppet movie was established that it was not an actual movie.
I know. Look, fine, okay, it's yes, but then I understand we always have that mixing continuity thing. Like, what is?
That's the whole point of the Muppets.
Do you think you have to
explain? The whole point of the Muppets is that they make movies about different continuities.
I get it. All right, I get it. All right. By that logic, then the Muppets take Manhattan. Then, of course, working the Muppet Babies into that. Then the Muppet Babies is entirely fictional.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Happy now.
Oh, no. You just broke the universe, Trey. God.
Happy now, mister. You have to pull the strings. You gotta, like Ed Wood, like Bela Lugosi from Ed Wood, you gotta pull the string.
All right. But seriously. I don't know, man. I just think the whole thing is just adorable. You know, Gonzo like, oh wow, I was a cute little bugger, and the animal thing just melts my heart. You know, animal. I don't know. Like I said, I love the grainy home video element to it. I thought it worked really nicely.
Huh.
And then just simply for the sheer spectacle of it all, just the Sesame Street caroling intro. Oh my god, it's amazing, Dragon. It kind of has the spectacle of something like, I don't want to say Shouldn't We Ride, because Shouldn't We Ride has the whole, the technical element of like they're all riding bikes, but just there's something that will always be satisfying and visually just neat about seeing so many of these characters in group shots.
The Million Muppet March, Tiki.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
Think of the Million Muppet March. How amazing would that be?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Just triumphantly marching through the street, all prideful, and just like, we're Muppets and we own it, man.
Oh, God. No, is there going to be like some sort of like weird racial allegory with this?
No, but Tiki, that we're so proud and we're so regal. We're Muppets, darn it.
Yes, they are. All right. But yeah, I love the visual spectacle. Big Bird, of course, at the back of the pack. I love how they work in obscure characters as well, like the furry blue monster guy. I forget exactly what his name is.
You're thinking of Cookie Monster, are you?
No. I'm thinking of the other. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, that's about it.
All right. Okay, for me. Well, let's see. Oh boy, I love the Snowman to pieces. I love the our introduction to the Snowman. Fozzie meets his new kind of is very Bing Crosby and he's very I guess it's Bob Hope. Yeah, I guess he's more Bob Hope-esque, with him thing the nose, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, kind of very Hope and Crosby dynamic with Fozzie meeting the Snowman, played by the wonderful Richard Hunt, by the way. Scooter, same Muppeteer portrays Scooter, portrays the Snowman, and does a delightful job as they do kind of a duet of Sleigh Ride. And my favorite bit in the whole song, again, one is, I love a good Snowman, Tiki. I love Frosty as well. So Snowman, of course, Gertrude Carol the dog. I appreciate a good Snowman. And with this Snowman, honestly, I remembered him from, again, either Very Muppet Christmas or Very Likely. I'm just thinking of the music right now. I absolutely know it is Christmas Carol because it has that, it has like the music from Christmas Carol behind that scene. Sure. I've seen the Snowman before, and that's the whole reason I single in on this thing, is seeing this image of the Snowman. It's like, okay, cool, Jim Henson taking a Snowman. That's cool. Let's see more of that. And he was just delightful. He was funny, and he was kind of a comedic sidekick, and he was kind of a friend to Fozzie Bear. Usually, he's always alone on stage inside of Kermit the Frog, and Fozzie's always the receiving end of the joke. So he's kind of his little partner in crime, which is endearing. And in this scene, they have like a back and forth while they're singing a song, just like kind of a White Christmas dynamic almost. Mm-hmm. And in this, my favorite line of all the banter they have within the song is, "Not reindeer. Snow, it's not reindeer, it's snow, darling." That's so cute. That's such kind of it's a cute joke, throwing snow up in there. It's snow, darling. The reindeer. Yeah, that was cute. I liked it. Anyway, so beyond that, now the big scene. Oh boy, here we go. The big heart of it all, folks.
The Beaker scarf scene, but somehow even more effective.
You know how much I love that Beaker scarf scene, man. Recently, I was watching.
It's funny, Dragon. Like that was the question I asked Dave Goles, not Gonzo, but Dave Goles at the Muppets Christmas event. Like, hey, how'd that scarf scene come about? It was a stupid question in retrospect. He was basically like, it was written on the page. He kind of tore me down for that, and I kind of deserved that.
If you ask a question, you gotta sell it, man. You gotta sell the scarf before you ask.
Okay, you know what? I did sell it. All right, I sold it because I was like, "Hey, man, believe it or not, I've actually podcasted about this movie twice, and I love this movie. And man, oh man, my podcast co-host and I, we go gaga over that scarf scene. Tell us, Dave. Tell us, how did that scarf scene come about?" And Dave's like, Somebody wrote it into the script and we acted it out. The end. All right.
In retrospect, yeah, they asked the wrong person in retrospect.
I know, that's the thing. That's the thing. I totally asked the wrong person, and he kind of got me for that.
Like, well, you probably should have asked about the jelly bean scene. That's what you really should have asked.
Right. I mean, there's a million things I could have asked him, but I don't know. That's the thing, man. I kind of made that same mistake with Wally Wingard. When we briefly talked to Wally Wingard, my question was like, hey, remember the Mr. Wynn Christmas special? She's like, nope, haven't watched it. I mean, it's, Mr. Wynn had like 2 lines of dialogue in the Jungle movie, so it's not like understanding the nuance of that character was like pivotal or anything, but
at the same time, he did undersell very creepy, and that was a problem.
Yes, he did. That was a problem.
Okay, anyway, back to my what I was getting at, just real quick on the Christmas Carol things. I was watching the Disney version of Christmas Carol, which honestly surprisingly holds up better than I expected it to on the rewatch, by the way.
The Disney version of Christmas Carol is very solid.
Yeah, I mean,
overshadowed by Muppet Christmas Carol a little bit. I think it's very solid, though. I mean, it has the most logical Scrooge ever.
It does, and has, I mean, honestly, a few effects may not hold up as well, but the majority of it, it's really creative. It's really cool. It's basically they had the scary. They adapt the book very well, regardless. Muppet Christmas Carol, like the one thing I was watching that movie that I was kind of remarking to my friends who were having like a little Christmas good. I was remarking to them while we were watching it. Basically, when we had like the essentially the scarf scene, the big charity scene where he gives back to the guy. I was whispering to one of my buddies. Does not beat the beak, there's no beaker scarf scene. Come on. It's like, I don't care if I'm comparing versions, like nothing's going to top that beaker scarf moment, because I love that moment so much. And what I'm getting at with all that, folks, is that again, it's the heart. We have a heartfelt scene like that here with Big Bird and the Swedish Chef. So again, the Swedish Chef has been targeting Big Bird, trying to knock him out so he can cook him, which is horrific when you think about it. But Big Bird, oh my God, is a beautiful. Carol Spinney, the man's an angel. He is. I mean, again, for anyone who has not watched it, for any peons out there who have not watched it, I encourage all of you fine people, watch I Am Big Bird if you haven't watched it yet. If you just want to learn about the beauty of this man who can convey a scene like this. Big Bird, he gives the Swedish Chef a Christmas gift. Now, bear in mind, the Swedish Chef is trying to kill and cook Big Bird, but he does not know this because he is a sweet innocent from Sesame Street. He doesn't know any better. So Big Bird has given him some chocolate-covered bird seed, and the Swedish Chef, I
love how much thought goes into this gesture, too.
And I love the Swedish Chef. He probably
you're from Sweden, and it must be hard to be away from your family on the holiday.
I love the gift. Like, it doesn't even matter if the Swedish Chef likes it.
I love how that's the one time that we acknowledge that the Swedish Chef actually has a family somewhere.
Yes.
Go ahead, though. I'm sorry.
We don't even know if the Swedish Chef even likes the chocolate-covered bird. See what the gesture carries through this moment here. Yes, then Big Bird's pointing out that you're away from your family in Sweden, and you must get kind of lonely, and explain the gift. And I love you can see this great nuanced performance on the Swedish Chef, who's just usually a one-note character. But we have this great dimension applied to him. I love you can see the transition of Tiki. I'm so fascinated by the process and motion where it's like he goes from I'm gonna cook the bird and then and then basically goes from that to what have I done? Like, how could I think of harming a creature like this? Basically, again, he does very much have the kind of the Porg experience here, where he just realizes I can't harm this sweet simple bird. I can't do that, because then they even sing basically a version of a sweet Carol Spinney version of the Christmas song. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, but it's all with the Swedish Chef in a duet. Of course, it'd be gibberish. And the Swedish Chef it was hilarious. And it's a sweet scene in the end. There's Big Bird says, "So what are we having for dinner?" And the Swedish Chef, he just can't bring himself to cook Big Bird after this beautiful gesture. It's such a nice gesture, and I loved it so much. It's such a beautiful bit there, and also kind of it takes this potentially offensive Swedish Chef, hilarious but really dark Swedish Chef thing, and makes it the most beautiful segment in the whole thing. That's amazing. You can turn a moment like that into the most sweet, heartfelt moment of the whole special.
Oh, it really is. It really is, and it goes to show you just how versatile the Muppets are when it comes to storytelling.
And it's bred from a crosshair, which makes it even more impressive too. It's the nexus of Sesame Street,
right.
Muppets, but also just that bit of what are we having? And basically, wheat and cranberries, my favorite. It's like this. they turned the knob of like likability and sweetness on Big Bird, and they broke the knob off. Oh yeah, so it's a beauty. And the last one goes by real quick. I love Doc going to search for Miss Piggy here, because I was loving this moment.
This is such a great like wrap up to his arc.
Yeah, but it's less the rescue of Miss Piggy. It's more the moment before where he's talking. The scene with Kermit. That's what gets me in this scene. It's just this simple. There's a really good kinship between Kermit the Frog and Doc. There's two really nice guys, and Doc. We see the end of his arc here, where he's embraced all this friendliness. Initially, didn't want these guys around, but he doesn't really know these guys, but he now thinks of them as friends. Within a day, he's become friends with these guys, and he says, "Oh, I'll find you a friend. What should look like? A pig. Looks like a pig." Earlier, I wouldn't believe that, but now I do. And he goes off to find her, and so he's going to walk out into a blizzard. This old man's going to walk out into a blizzard to find someone he doesn't even know. And then Kermit the Frog just remarks, "What a sweet guy!" And it's really nice. It's the great. Again, basically, they have to write Doc out so we can do a Fraggle segment. But I love just the genuineness that comes before that forced Fraggle segment.
Mm-hmm.
And also, real quick, the Jim Henson cameo really gets me. I think it's a nice sentiment on Jim Henson and the Muppets, where he says, one is just his appreciate cameo, and secondly, just when he says, "I like it when they have a good time, but someone has to do the dishes." That sums up Jim Henson so beautifully. He's the Kermit the Frog behind the scenes. He's the guy. I love it when these guys have a good time, but at the same time, someone has to get the real work done. Jim Henson's the guy doing the dishes. He's the guy doing dishes quietly behind the scenes. That's what Jim Henson was, man. That's beautiful.
Right.
All right.
So how's it hold up, Dragon?
How's it hold up? Oh dear Tiki, how does it hold up? It's delightful and uplifting.
Yeah, it is. It took me by surprise just how effective it worked as a crossover. This is like, this is decades before before the pipe dream that was the MCU came into existence. You know what I mean? We're talking like just the fact that they were able to take the essence of all these characters and, just have them come together so well into, granted, this thing doesn't really have too much of a story. It's more just, kind of like, as the title suggests, it's a family thing. It's a family picture. But, I gotta say, like I said, it's definitely a diamond in the rough when it comes to Muppet things. I will say, from like a filmmaking point of view and, from like a dramatic storytelling point of view, Muppet Christmas Carol is obviously superior. However, I would say this is definitely the more Muppets out of the two things. You know what I mean by that, right? Like, where Muppet Christmas Carol, I've always said my main complaint about Muppet Christmas Carol is that, if anything, it's almost like too much of a Michael Caine movie and not enough of a Muppet movie. Whereas this is just like overloaded with Jim Henson puppet goodness from beginning to end, and I love it.
I still disagree with that Michael Caine thing, but I understand where you're coming from on it.
I do think it's the least Muppety of all the Muppet movies, but that's not a bad thing. That just makes it, it makes it unique. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and for this one, it could be shortened, but basically what I'm coming down on it, for anything like that with like the 10 minutes of songs, I just basically equate it to, oh heck, it's Christmas. Basically, I give it the old, it could be shortened, but oh heck, it's Christmas. I'll let it be. I'll let it be. I'm in the edit. Someone's in the editing room. There are a lot of songs. They're all nice. They're all cheery. They're all seasoned. Do we really need them? Heck, it's Christmas. Let it slide. Let them have their day in the sun. The snow is falling. Give me some eggnog. Let's just toast our glasses and let's just say, they're Muppets. They know what they're doing. It's got the Henson.
Dragon. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's got the Henson magic of a Christmas on a farm. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's nice.
Yeah. Take us out.
Well, kids, time to dash away, all. But as we wave goodbye, don't you cry. We'll be back again next time
with even more seasonal shenanigans.
La 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 la. Oh heck, it's Christmas.
What are we having?